Hello, I am Blaine Cartwright, and we are declaring November to be 9-Pound Hammer History Month. It's official. Nothing anyone can do about it. That's the way it is. 30 years ago, 9-Pound Hammer, we moved from the small town of Owensboro, Kentucky, to the small city of Lexington, Kentucky, to make it in the music business. I think one reason we went there is because we had a bunch of friends there and stuff too. It wasn't like a big move. Like you go to LA and things will happen for you and you don't know anybody and you move back. And it's like basically, it was also a good place to like develop too. We played it several times a month in town, anywhere we could. Now when 9-Pound Hammer started off, we were a blatant combination of Jason the Scorchers and the Ramones. Now, in the mid-'80s, Ramones weren't revered like they are now. I mean, the idea that they were be a subject of like that on the TV show Entourage, where they're fighting over a script based on Joey Ramone's life. That just seems so fucking far-fetched. Ramones were kind of down and out, but we championed them because they wrote songs about having fun and partying and the beach and hot rods and stuff, you know, and that always made sense to us. I remember vividly being in the singer Scott Llewellyn's car, drinking tequila and turfing a cornfield, blasting the Ramones on a ghetto blaster in the front seat. You know, his car called the Crawdaddy. We wrote a song on the first record. Now, we were Ramones based because that's how I played. That's basically what I could do. I could set a amplifier to have a certain sound and play like the Ramones, you know. Like, once I learned bar chords, that was basically it. So, and most bands around that time, whether they liked the Ramones or not, were still Ramones based because Ramones are the basis of punk rock. Now, the other band we really tried to be like was Jason and the Scorchers. Now, by the way, I'm making a playlist for Spotify for each one of these videos, right? And the one right now I'm putting on there is Jason versus Joey. Like Jason the Scorchers and Joey Ramone. Now, if you weren't around the area of Tennessee and Kentucky in the early 80s and mid-80s, you did not understand the significance of Jason the Scorchers. They were a big, big deal, and we were so blatantly ripped them off that we were almost embarrassed about it. But now when I show people Jason the Scorchers stuff, they don't see the connection at all. But there was two bands in like 82, 83 out of the South. They were huge. One of them was REM. They released a EP called Chronic Town in 82, and it didn't do anything except be on the Village Voice's top 10. The number 2 album or EP of the year or whatever it was. And the same thing happened with Jason the next year, Fervor. We got on the critics poll and everyone started paying attention to these guys. They were both kind of neck and neck for a while. And in fact, when REM got big and bigger and started playing to 4,000 or 5,000 people in Nashville, Jason came out and sang Rave On and Broken Whiskey Glass, and it was great. But I made this playlist of Jason versus Joey, and it goes from, you play it in order, because it goes Jason the Scorchers, Ramones, Jason the Scorchers, Ramones. And I've listened to this thing, I made it as a novelty, and I listened to it non-fucking stop. It's amazing. And it just smokes. And it shows where our heads were at. That's what we were trying to be. That's exactly where we were trying to be. The Scorchers did these this great first record, and then they got it on a bigger label, and they did an EP. Then they did their big label record, which I thought was great. Then they started being cheesy as shit. I don't know what the hell happened. I think them being in Nashville or something, they started poofing their hair up, and the cowpunk was like gone. And that's just it. As far as like, they don't get enough credit for, they invented cowpunk for sure. Some people think that 9-Pound Hammer invented it. We didn't invent it. We didn't invent it. I think we perfected it, but we did not invent it. But the common thing about Jason the Scorchers and the Ramones, they both had these singers. They were these goofy, lanky people that somehow gave this humanity to this scorching music behind them. They looked like both Joey Ramone and Jason It didn't look like you couldn't really tell if they were going to like try to kick her ass or they're going to be in a corner crying. You know, they had this, and they both, neither one of them could sing for any other band but those bands. That's it. And they put this so much personality in that band. Now the reason I'm talking about these guys so much is the very first Knock on Hammer gig, which we had another guitar player. The very first gig was David Epperson played lead guitar. I played rhythm. Scott sang. Toby Myrick was on drums, and a guy named Brian Payne, who the only person we knew that played bass. He liked more like U2 and stuff like that, would play bass. We played at the Ross Theater in Evansville, Indiana, and half the set list was Ramones, and the other half was Jason and the Scorchers. And that's what, you know, it took us till like Smoking Taters to get this style down, to finally settle on that and get that style down. And I just and it just as far as the Scorchers, it can't be emphasized enough. Like I mean, we like jumped around like they did and everything else too. You know, we had a video of those guys they showed on Showtime for up and coming bands, and we basically like just copied whatever move and everything. And Jason the Scorchers was one of the bands that moved around more than anyone I ever saw. Because when you're a kid and you picture these bands in your head, when you go see them, you're listening to them, you think they're just going around going crazy like Kiss did. But no, Jason the Scorchers actually did that. So anyway, so to celebrate the very birth of Knock on Hammer, we'll get into cowpunk on the next little episode, and we'll get into specifics. But right now, to show where our heads are at when we started, like go to Spotify or click on this link wherever this is at, and listen to Jason versus Joey. Then I'll get back to you next time. All right, happy Knock on Hammer History Month, everybody.